Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Kasa podcast. It's your boy Kojo again. Today I'm back. Last week, Efia moved me over to the guest seat and she grilled me. She asked me a few questions that really got my head scratching. But today I'm back. I'm in my own seat and I have so many wonderful people in the house today. Still, my tribe members are not back in the house. Um, my tribe members are still not back in the house. I have Wendy, Echo, and Chris all out. They had exam last week, but they're still not back. I don't know why. We'll get them back in the studio. But today I have a special guest. I have Efia and Mami in the studio. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mami,
Thank
how you
you.
doing?
I'm good. Very, very good. How are you
Okay.
too?
I'm good. I'm good. Efia, I was gonna ask how you were doing, but the way you're smiling, it looks like you feel like $1 million. You look like a
Yeah.
million bucks. I like your hair. I like your hair.
If here looks
Oh,
good already.
She
thank
does. She
you.
does.
Thank you.
She
Yeah.
she told me she was going to get her hair fixed yesterday, and she came out looking gorgeous
Yeah. Thank
as
you. Thank
always.
you. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And so today, guys, we're going to have a conversation around first dates. The summer's coming up. I know a lot of people are out of school. People are excited. People are like, it's time. You've got the summer body ready. You've got your goals and everything. Now it's time to actually go do the work, right? Getting the body and getting the vacations booked is not. It's now you're going to meet people. You're going to go on dates, and today we're going to have conversations around things that can derail a first date. Things we call bad questions, not necessarily bad in themselves. These questions come on without we wouldn't say these are completely off the table. We're not that arrogant to claim the such things. We're just like some conversations need a little more tact. You have to be a little more tactful when you're having them. And so we're going to talk about some of them. We're
Yeah.
going to share some ideas on how to navigate those spaces and we'll see how it goes, right? Maybe at the end of the show, I would learn enough so that I can go out there and, or maybe mommy, or if you can reverse her luck, but who knows? So today we're gonna go right in. Mommy, I know a lot of people are scratching their heads and they're like, first dates. What exactly are we talking about? So, mommy, what kind of first dates do you guys want us to analyze?
Ah, first date.
Mm-hmm,
We are looking at stepping out there with
mm-hmm,
that friend you
mm-hmm,
want to know
mm-hmm,
more about.
mm-hmm,
You want to know the person.
mm-hmm,
Probably you have seen him or her for a while,
mm-hmm.
but you haven't gotten the chance to
To get to know.
ask him certain questions or
Eh?
get to know who the person
Mm-hmm,
is.
mm-hmm.
Okay. And so that's what we're looking at discussing today.
So we're going to strictly focus on people you're now getting to know. So you're like getting to know stage, right? Is that
Yes.
yeah, okay. So first date, the first time you're truly getting to sit down and talk to this person. Um, I don't know if Efia ever does that. Efia, do you ever go on such a date? I don't know.
No, but
No, I knew
it's
it.
I'm
I knew it. I just knew it.
no. But I'm trying to explain something here.
Okay.
Please listen to me.
Mhm.
So could it also be over the phone?
These days, thanks to COVID and the new world we live in, a lot of people are
Mm-hmm.
going on virtual first dates. I think
Yeah,
that counts. But
definitely.
we're talking about the first real conversation you're going to be having with someone. The first, let's sit down, let's talk. If it's on the phone, if it's on FaceTime, if it's on
Mhm.
WhatsApp, wherever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Unless of course it's on the Casa podcast. On the Casa podcast, you can't come on a date, obviously. But you can just leave a like on this video. Just subscribe, hit the share button. But you can't do that on here. Unless of course you want to date if you're a boy and then we'd all sit in and watch. So if
What?
yeah, that's the one we're talking about. Hey.
Well, I think if you're talking about that, then
Mm-hmm,
yes, if it's over the phone, talking to someone for the
mm-hmm,
first
mm-hmm,
time or trying to really get to know someone,
mm-hmm,
yes.
mm-hmm.
But to meet someone, have physical dates, it's been a very, very long
Long
time.
time. I
Yeah.
mean, if yeah, people have told me, I got a lot of comments last week that you don't have a lot of game. And so I think you're confirming what the general consensus is. People say you don't have game. Is that accurate?
Who are those people? Could you are the one saying
I'm
your
not. I'm
thing.
not going to snitch.
Don't pin it on
I'm not
anyone.
going to snitch. Man,
Don't pin
mommy,
it on
mommy, do
anyone.
you have game?
Is this your question, or who are those?
But we want to know you first. Do you have game? Do you have game? Mommy. Mommy is
I
thinking
don't.
about this too hard. If you had game, we would have wanted you to teach Efia your boy because Efia has zero game.
Look at
I got
you.
confirmation from Benzi,
No, I don't.
from
I don't.
Prime, GH Fila, Nano Fori. Everybody has been telling me Efia has zero game. And so let's dive into the conversation. Let's talk about first dates. Like we said, these are not questions you that are tabooed. It's not like you can't talk about them, but they would need a little more tact. And one that has been on my at the top of my tongue from the very start, whenever we're thinking of this show, is the one we've been hearing a lot of lately. What do you bring to the table?
Oh my.
What do you bring to the table, guys? What do you think? Is it a good idea to bring this up or ask someone on a first date? Hey, mommy, what do you bring to the table? What do you guys
No.
think?
I think it will be a complete turn off for me.
Mm,
I
mm,
mean, what do I bring to the table? No,
mhm,
I think I want to know you, but it's a step at
mhm,
a time. Don't
mhm,
just see me today and then want to know
mhm,
what I'm bringing to the table.
mm, mm,
I'd rather you even tell me what you have and what
mhm,
you are also bringing,
Mm-hmm.
because I
Mm-hmm.
haven't even known you enough
mhm, mhm,
to
Yeah.
even have an idea what you have or what you
mhm,
are bringing on. And so
mm,
Yeah.
I think it's too early. I mean, such
mm,
questions can come up, but
mhm.
I think it's too early. I mean, to
And the
have such
first date.
questions on first dates is a
Mm.
red flag for me.
Hey,
No.
the red flags have already come out. The red flags are coming out. If yeah,
Yes.
boy, what do
Um,
you also think?
I think I don't even think after you've spoken for a while, it should still come on the tail. Like you should still
Mm,
ask this question because
mm,
if you've spoken to someone for a while, you should know
mhm,
exactly what the person brings to the
mhm,
table.
mhm,
And if you're getting to know the person for the first time, you don't
mhm,
even have to ask what you
mhm,
bring to the table. It's
mhm,
like, okay, I mean, it sounds as if it's a red flag, as Mami
mm,
said. And
mm,
if you guys has been have been talking for a long while,
mhm,
then I don't know how to put it, but it looks like you are daft to really
mm,
know what if you feel the person doesn't bring anything, why
mhm.
is still there? You know,
Yeah,
like you should
yeah.
figure that out without even asking.
Okay. But that's the thing, right? This is why we're having this conversation. I
Hmm.
think uh, it's becoming a fad where I've seen a lot of shows, I've seen a lot of YouTube videos. I go on WhatsApp, on Twitter, and I see a lot of these clips, right? Where
Yeah.
people are becoming very bold, all in the name of, shooting straight and saying it as it is. And now people are being very disrespectful. Things that we wouldn't normally have asked someone. People feel, listen, I can talk about it. I think people have even made a whole, there's this young man who died recently, which is sad that he died, but
Hmm.
there's a following for that kind of brute. Let's just ask things, let's just put things out there, and it's
Yeah.
making people think these are nice questions to ask, right?
Hmm.
What's your value and all that. But we're not only here to sort of, we're here to help guide the conversation, if we could, right? We're going to suggest some things. Wouldn't you guys think asking to know about the person, like, so what do
Yeah.
you do, like, long term, what, that kind of thing, like questions that ask for long term plans, like where do you see yourself in a year,
But
in 5 years? Hmm.
Kojo, long
Hmm.
term, don't you think it's too early to ask long term questions on the first date? Like, what do you see yourself in the next 5 years? What do
Hmm.
you do this
Hmm.
in next year? Isn't it too early to be
it,
asking
it
such
depends on
questions?
how you ask it and how you weave it into the conversation. And this is why we're saying the topic is not completely off the table. But
Yeah.
say you ask the person, hey, so how was your week? "Oh, well, it's been stressful. My boss is really stressing me. I'm
Hmm.
working towards this promotion." And so you're like, "Oh, so do you see yourself working in this firm in the next 4 years?" They can
Okay.
then tell you, right? So you can find a way to sort of investigate where they see
Hmm.
themselves without
Hmm.
being like, tell me about yourself. I know we all don't like that question. Like you meet
I
someone,
hate it.
you're vibing, and they're like, "Tell me about yourself."
You
Like
know,
I
that. That
hate
is,
it.
mommy. What
I
do you
hate
also
it.
think? Do you think there are ways to rope it
yeah,
in?
yeah, yes, yes, sure. I think that's a very good question,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mhm.
we need to be careful with the timing. All
Mm-hmm.
right, the
Mm-hmm.
timing
Yeah.
is very
Mm-hmm.
important,
Yes.
and so that we don't have to, I mean, jump the gun asking
Mm-hmm.
certain
Mm-hmm.
questions. And like I said, women are so sensitive as well as guys. I'm speaking from a woman's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Certain questions may come as a turn off, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
for me, going straight to ask the person,
Mm-hmm.
um, his plan long time goal
Mm-hmm.
for probably the first 4 years or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like Kojo, you started, how
Mm-hmm.
has been your week? The
Mm-hmm.
person talks about how the week has been. Then
Mm-hmm.
you can delve into knowing, okay, so what's the
Mm-hmm.
nature of your job?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then the
Mm-hmm.
person gets to tell you about what he or she does.
Mm.
Exactly.
From
Mm.
there, anything at all can come in, but then you can
Mm.
still come back to the same question
Mm-hmm.
by asking, okay, I mean, how long have you been doing this job? The
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
person can go ahead to tell you, are
Mm.
you enjoying it? Do you enjoy
Mm-hmm.
what you do? Do you
Mm.
think you
Exactly.
want to change job?
Mm.
So you pick it from there. Once you build
Mm-hmm.
it up from there, it
Mm-hmm.
will get to a point you might not even ask what the
Ask.
person wants to do for
Mm-hmm.
the
That's
next
it.
Mm-hmm.
3 or 4 years.
They're going to
That
open up.
person can go ahead
Mm.
to just tell you, oh, I've been
Mm.
here for 2 years
Mm-hmm.
because I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't getting a job.
Mm-hmm.
And so I
Mm-hmm.
decided to take this offer and then
Mm.
do it for the time
Mm.
being. I'm
Yeah.
giving
Mm.
myself a year or two. I
Mm.
intend to go back to school. I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Mm-hmm.
don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily have
You
to
have
just
Have to
jump in to
ask.
go ask somebody,
Mm.
that is it.
depending
Mm.
on how you start questioning or
Mm.
how your questioning tactics is all about. You can know a
Mm.
lot from the person than
Mm.
to
Mhm.
quickly go into. I feel
Yeah.
the person would think that why are you getting too personal all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden?
Mm-hmm.
But you
Yes.
still can get that information on
Yeah.
that
That.
same day,
Mm-hmm.
depending on how you go about it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
that's my take.
That is deep. That's some deep stuff, mommy. That is
Yeah.
some very deep stuff.
Mhm.
Mommy is raising, pointing our attention to the fact that you can get the information you need without being direct and forthright with the question.
Mhm.
I see a comment, and I'm going to go through a couple of the comments. I see my people are here. Amanda is
Okay.
here. Hey, Rabini. Uh, you've really dogged me, well, after the show I'd find a way to come and get my air fried chicken, but Abena is here. She's like fork and knife. Abena, would you explain that a little more? It is, I think, this far better than Christina. I don't get the comment. Kwame
He's
is
trying
laughing.
to say that
Mhm.
the streaming here on YouTube is better
Oh,
than the
it's
one
far
on
better
Twitter.
than. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, guys. We just started streaming on Twitter too. So if you follow the Casa podcast, you can go on our page right now and you see us streaming on Twitter. So now we stream on YouTube, on um Facebook, and on Twitter. Wherever you want to catch a podcast, wherever you get your podcast. And don't forget to check out the Casa podcast on all your podcast directories. Like if you miss the show or if you miss some parts of the show, don't worry. On your drive to work, just put it on your Spotify, Apple Podcast, wherever you get your podcast, and catch up. The conversation keeps going. Um, Christine Ekialabi said, if a first date or hangout feels like a job interview, it just doesn't feel right. You
Yep.
see, so it shouldn't be question, 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 question. It should be a conversation. You're not trying to offer the person a job, right? We're trying to get to know each other. So yeah, definitely. Mommy is a male in a female skin. Michael, be careful. Michael Kwame. Yeah, Chris is also here. Chris, we don't like the fact that you've ditched out on the show. Please come and teach us your ways. Idolo, please come and teach us. So come and teach us. Kwame, the feed froze, or is it just me? Kwame,
It's
maybe
just
it's
you,
just you.
Kwame. It's just you.
Oh, okay. Oh, Leko, that's you. Leko, but why are you using the woman's name on
You do not ask.
YouTube?
You don't
Okay.
ask.
Abena, what I bring to the table is fork and knife. Okay. I get it. I get it. So she was answering, what do you bring to the table? That's a good one. That is a good one. When
Yeah,
asking
that's true.
someone what
Abuna,
they bring to the
you
table,
probably
saying,
may want to add a
mm-hmm,
napkin, a
fork and
Yeah,
napkin or
knife.
tissue
That's
with
to
it.
a
chop a
cold,
knife. I
with
mean,
a cold
That's good.
drink.
Twitter is messing up, but over here on YouTube, it's better. Oh, okay. So, guys, if you're watching the live stream on Twitter, you can switch over to YouTube or Facebook or wherever you get it. But we're having conversations about first date, and Mami was drawing our attention to the fact that it should not feel forced. It should not feel like an interview. It should not feel like a job interview. It has to be a conversation. You can get all the information you need without being, blunt about the
Yeah.
questioning. Guys, okay, so this is not necessarily a question, but I want us to see if we can talk about how a first date should feel, right? Because Christine pointed out something, that if it feels like an interview, right, is there a way, are there questions you can ask to ruin how a date feels? And what are some of the things that can change the feel, aside, you know
What do you bring to
what
the
do you bring
table?
to the table? Are there any other topics or things that will make it
Yeah.
feel different? If yeah.
As you said earlier, right?
Mm-hmm,
Going straight to the point and asking
mm-hmm,
certain questions
mm-hmm,
become like it's like a red flag.
mm-hmm,
So you sort of want to make it feel like, trying to know the person,
mm-hmm,
just being genuinely curious, not just
mm,
because you're curious and so you're
mm,
just poking
mm,
in, like you're interested. You want to
mm-hmm,
know,
mm-hmm,
to see how things. So you ask the week, as Mami said, how was
mm-hmm,
your week? You start from little things. How was today? How was work
mm-hmm,
today?
mm-hmm,
How was the day today?
mm-hmm,
I think one question you should try and avoid is asking someone how much they make, like
mm,
their salary. Yes.
mm,
If the person willingly
mm.
tells you, fine, but do not go asking, oh, how much do you make? It's like
Ish, that one day.
that's too personal. That
Yeah.
is too
I
personal
don't
to
even know
me.
if I can ask my coworkers how they're making, right? I think people's salary should be, I think people have the right to financial privacy. People should be able to make whatever they make, and it should be. But I would tell you guys what Ifya makes. Just leave a like on the video, and then I'm going to tell you how much Ifya makes at the end of the show, right? Because Ifya, okay, Ifya, I'm going to tell you them how much you make. But Leko is back. First date, the vibe should feel normal. It's very
Yeah.
important. I I mean, it should flow cohesively, but it shouldn't sound like an interrogation.
No.
Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely. If
no,
someone's, as soon as
no,
the butt
no.
touches the chair, it's question after question after question, it ruins the feel.
Yeah.
And guys, do you think, this is just my suggestion, do you think sometimes we should answer some of the questions rather than asking them, right? And so, like, if I wanted to know something,
Yeah.
like how you feel about a
Mm-hmm.
show or
Mm-hmm.
something, maybe telling you what I think, especially after we've
Yeah.
established interest. So we establish an interest in, say, football.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I love football too, but now Manchester United is making me lose interest in football. So, sort of answering the question, telling the person your perspective, opening
Yeah.
up to the person, sort
Yeah.
of makes them also warm enough. Like if Yeboah and her Man City, she'd also open up and rub it in and tell me all that Man City is doing better than Man United. Do you guys think it's a good way to go? Like opening up, so that it makes the other person also relaxed and open up.
Definitely. I mean, that is
Mhm,
the easiest way to make people
mhm,
open up. It's
mhm,
by opening up. That is
mm,
what I think. If
mm,
you want someone to open up to you, you start
mhm,
by opening up. So you start by
mhm,
telling the person what you think is it's wrong, what you
mhm,
think. Then the person will be like, "Oh, why do you think this way?"
mm,
Because I
mm,
feel it's like this, and the person like,
mhm,
"Oh, I never thought of it this way."
mhm,
That is like leading the whole conversation. It's
mm,
like
mm,
telling the person how you want things to go.
mhm,
You talk about how um it's the easiest way to make anyone open up. It's by
mm,
opening up first.
mm,
So you
mm,
don't just go asking, oh, what is this? What is that? What is this?
mhm,
So you start by saying, oh, what is it? Oh, okay. Maybe the person would forget to ask you how your day
mhm,
went. So you go
mhm,
like, oh, even today I did this at work. The person will be like, oh,
mm,
where do you work?
mm,
What do you
mm.
do? Then it creates the room, and then everyone gets comfortable.
Okay.
Usually you want to be very comfortable on your not extremely comfortable, but then
Mhm,
there's tension already. You don't want to add extra tension. So you
mhm,
want to do things to make the other your partner, I mean,
mhm, The
the other
person.
party, yes, relax, and
Hmm.
then calm and not feel timid, be open.
Hmm.
You want an atmosphere where everything can flow. So mostly
Mm.
if you open up, that's the best way to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I agree with you there. Opening up, sort of, again, we're talking about how it feels when you open up, when people feel you can be trusted, when people feel comfortable around you. It's not like you're interrogating me or asking me, but you're telling me about yourself. And then you're asking me about myself. Maybe, especially even if I don't know how to answer the question, I don't know what you're looking for exactly. When you start opening up, when you start telling me things, it will give me, okay, this is how far the person wants to go with this. This is what the person wants to know from this. So yeah, I think opening up is a good way to get some questions
Yeah.
answered.
Yeah,
Christine
Yeah,
has given us a
that's
few
true.
hints. If they invite you to hang out at their house on the first date, well, Christine said it's a no for them. First dates in people's homes is a no for Christine. I don't know about location, but hey, Christine is asking, I have a question. Can you have a first date with potential friends? Can you have a first date with potential friends? Guys, what do you think? I have my answer. I would answer after you guys go. Do you guys think you can have a potential date with, you can have a first date with a potential friend?
yeah.
Mm.
You can't.
Yeah, tell
I
us more.
mean,
Sure, why not?
your dates are always people you want to, you know. I don't know how you guys would describe a friend. Like you
Mm.
said, potential friend.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
The person is definitely a potential friend. That is how you
mm-hmm,
want to know more about the
mm-hmm,
person.
mm-hmm,
Maybe you don't know enough, so you can't tell if this
mm-hmm,
person can be a friend or
mm-hmm,
not. So you want to see how it goes. Sometimes you go on a date and you don't end up being romantic partners. You're
mm-hmm,
just friends.
mm-hmm.
So you can do that.
Yeah. Mommy, what do you also think?
Yeah, I think it's okay. I mean, you want to know the person. I
Mm-hmm,
think that the focus of first date is basically to know the person.
mm-hmm.
And
Mhm.
so it's fine to go on a date with a potential friend. And
Okay.
for me, one of my focus with the first date is to know somebody. It's
Mm-hmm,
probably because I like you or you
mm-hmm,
like me. That's why
mm-hmm.
you are inviting me
Yep.
for a date,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm,
Yeah. So I mean, it has to be that's interactive. I mean,
mm-hmm,
somebody
Yeah.
mentioned earlier that it shouldn't be like job interview.
mm-hmm,
Okay. Probably the example I cited earlier is
mm-hmm,
why the person is based on. So
mm,
in my presentation, I made something clearer that
mm-hmm,
you ask one question, you should be doing something else.
mm-hmm,
Like the things
mm-hmm.
I said, you can't continuously be asking me, how was your
Yeah.
day? And then
Mm-hmm,
you quickly jump into the next
mm-hmm,
question. There
mm-hmm,
should be another
mm-hmm,
activity. Maybe you
mm-hmm,
could come up with something,
mm-hmm,
a joke or
mm,
something. You could have
mm,
a general thing to discuss
mm-hmm,
about. You may even
mm-hmm.
see something wherever you are having your date, and then you just want to make a joke out of it, or
Small.
you want
Mm-hmm,
to draw the person's attention.
mm-hmm,
What do you think of A, B, C, D?
mm-hmm.
So as you keep talking, then you go back to whatever you are asking
You
the person
okay?
to
Yeah.
want to
Okay.
continue
Mm,
the
mm.
whatever you were talking about. But it shouldn't be continuous.
Continuous.
And the
Mm,
focus here is actually to know you and
mm,
probably to want to have a date with you, to
mm-hmm,
want to continuously meeting up with you.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so if it becomes boring on the first date, trust
Mm,
me, I am not
mm,
returning again. I
mm,
mean, it's
mm,
not coming on again.
mm.
Yeah.
That's
And I think
interesting.
that
Mm-hmm,
it should be more jovial. Like it should be something.
mm-hmm.
It should the
Lighthearted.
person exactly. At the end of the day, I should have something on my mind to want to see you again to talk
Mm,
about or to
mm,
continue the
mm.
discussion. Okay, but if it's boring or
But you did
something, I'm
drop some
sorry.
very key points I don't want us to lose sight of. Mami dropped some
Okay.
gems. Mami said it shouldn't be all gas and no brakes. You shouldn't just zone in and, like a dog and a bone, like just go ham. Sometimes you have to let things breathe. So, yeah, we talk about the person a bit. We find something else, like, even ordering. We can talk about the menu. We can talk about, what kind of, not tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me.
Mhm.
Let's have interludes, right? It could be a joke,
Yeah.
it could be, something not that. It shouldn't be us. It shouldn't be
Yeah.
you, me. There should be other things, like my mom was saying, if there's something at the place you guys
Yeah.
are, if something happens, you can't be seriously on a date with someone, having a conversation with them, and like the funniest thing happens next door, and you just stay stoic. You're just like, let me just keep going. Let me just. I'm going to give a hint. If anybody is thinking of going on a date with me, I like, not gossip per se, but if something fun happens, please don't look at it alone. Point it out to me, right? If you see something fun, if something interesting crosses, like share, kokonsa partner, share with me. Like make it fun. Let me know that if the date goes well, I can have someone I can go and people watch with. I love to people watch. I like to go and sit at the mall and just watch people. No, not in a bad way, but it's a good thing. So if you note something nice, just let me know. So and to answer the question, can you go out on a date, a first date with a potential friend? Absolutely. I think if you're actively dating, looking for a romantic partner, that's different. But you should definitely go out on dates knowing anything can happen. The person you're going out on the date with could be a friend, a business
Yeah.
partner.
Yeah.
There's so many outcomes from the date. It's not only romantic. It's not the only outcome, right? There's so many things that can come out of the date. And so, yeah, you can go out on a date with someone who would end up being a very great friend, and it's completely fine. And I want people to sort of be comfortable with it. A date shouldn't always end in, finding a romantic partner. So, to answer your question, Ikea, yes, you can. I'm not Obama though, but yes, you can. Kwame is saying something. I make 25K, and looking at you make 75K, so I would decide to go on a date with you so that our household income is 100K.
What?
We're good for life. Okay, yeah, it is not a very smart question to be looking at people's income and sort of adding it up to find your household income. It's what they make. Let's not. I think we staying away from finances and especially putting numbers to it might be a good thing for a first date.
Yeah.
Open-minded is Open-mindedness is the first key tool when meeting someone, but asking the person what he or she brings to the table is definitely a red flag. That's Leko. Leko agrees that asking what someone brings to the table is a complete red flag. You can open up and say, I make 200K. What do you make? Hey,
No,
you opened
I
up,
don't
but you're
think
still
so.
asking an inappropriate question. That's true. That's true. And I don't know how it's going to come across if you just drop your money on the table. There's a
Nah.
very fine line between opening up and crossing the line into bragging. Black Arabian, I see you. Hope you're doing well, brother. Michael said, if we have to open up, then every question is good. Allow us who are mouth lazy. Yes, you can be mouth lazy, Kwame. I know you're not actively going on dates, so uh, we wouldn't take advice from you,
From
Kwame.
you,
You
no.
you would wreck someone's dating life. Can you know someone only on a date? If yeah, I want you to take a stab at this one. Kwame is asking if you
Hmm.
can know someone only on a date.
I mean, dates more. I would want to go the normal way where you physically meet the person and have a conversation. That is more appropriate because most often you're just talking to the person on the phone. I think you're not, you don't, I don't know. It's like the vibe is different when you're off
Mhm.
the phone,
Okay.
So you would want to physically meet this one and
Mm-hmm.
then know how the person presents himself,
Mm-hmm.
how the person feels, because people are very active over the phone because
Mm-hmm.
there's no one in front of them. They are talking
Mm-hmm.
like they're talking to the phone,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you meet them, they are different people.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like, okay, you were talking to me 2 seconds ago, being all jovial
Mm-hmm.
and fun.
Mm-hmm.
Now why you acting timid? What
Mm-hmm.
is happening?
Okay.
So I think it'll be you'll be better off meeting the person.
Okay.
Like, yeah, that's what I think.
Kwame, to answer your question, is it the only way you can do it? Absolutely not. But it's one of the best ways. It's a good way to get to know someone. Meeting the person like in person, like if you was saying, right? People can be different when they are in different spaces. A date is a time where both of you are in the same space. You get to get the non-verbal cues. On a phone call, you only get verbal cues. People tell
Yeah.
you stuff. On a date, you get to see people's expressions, how it even sounds different. Believe me, Kwame, if you heard my voice in real life, it's probably not this,
Crips.
it's the mic is doing a lot of work, right? So sometimes, meeting someone, it's not the only way, but it's a very good way. So to answer your question,
Yeah.
no, there are other ways. But going on a date, sharing space and time, and even a meal with someone goes a very long way to to help you get to know the person.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of questions coming in. Guys, please keep your comments and your questions coming in. We're going to read them all. We're going to get through them. And hopefully, this summer is going to be, a great one. We're going to be able to go out and get good dates. We will see if Efia would be able to fix her internet.
Great.
Okay.
Great.
So Christine was like, and what about going on dates for a free meal? Is it acceptable? Efia, I'll let you answer this one. Should people go on dates just to get a free meal out of it?
I mean, people do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to make strict rules, but
Mm-hmm.
ideally, just
Mm-hmm.
eat at home and save
Mm-hmm.
yourself some energy.
Mm.
You're going to board a car from
Mhm,
your home to the
mhm,
place for a free meal. You
mhm,
paid for the fuel you're taking to the place. The meal is
mhm,
definitely not free. I
mm,
don't think it's free. You're
mm,
spending time and
mhm,
all that. So
mhm,
it's not a free meal. You're paying for it with your time.
mhm,
So if
mhm,
you think you don't want the person or it's just because
mhm,
of the food, stay home and cook your food and eat.
hmm,
Don't waste your
hmm.
time.
I completely agree with the stay home bit. Christine, going on a date with that notion, going on a date with the free meal idea in mind can backfire seriously. Like you go on a date, in your mind, oh, I'm going to go get a free meal. Maybe you don't even bring your purse or your wallet or your money or anything. Anything can happen. Something comes up and the person is short and
Mhm.
you just came for the free meal, you easily get exposed. I don't think it's a good way to live life, just to go coasting on free stuff. I'm going, like, if you ask me out on a date, I'm like, yeah, I'm going for the free food. I don't care about the conversation. I don't care about the person. I don't want to get to know the person, but it's a free meal. And that one, it's not a very good way to look at it. And it's not a good way to go, I think. Amanda is asking, is it good to open up? It is good to open up, but there should be limits. Absolutely. You have to be careful not to tell too much.
Yep.
I completely agree with
Yep.
you there, Amanda. There should be a little mystery after the first date. There should
Mhm.
be something about you that's not out there. There's a very fine line, like we've been saying. Opening up is great, but there's a fine line between opening up and just being overbearing and too much. Sometimes
Mhm.
in your quest to open up, you might open up way too much. You have to leave some things for a second date,
Yep.
I think.
Yep. Mhm.
Song is here. Song said, I'm late today. Song, it's better late than never. Welcome, brother. I hope you had a good week. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to the conversation. Give us some tips we can use. What are some things that are not good to discuss on first dates? What are some topics or some questions that we should stay away from, right? And we're trying to see what's best, right, for
Yep.
everyone. An open mind is free from the fetters of prejudice. Having an open mind have an open mind. On the other hand, means to be
Receptive.
receptive to new information and ideas. Yeah, I think. Okay, well, he's explaining what an open mind is. That is Lickle. Lickle is telling us what he meant by his open mindedness. Not judging people, not being, not bringing your prejudices to the table, and also being willing to listen to new information and new ideas. And I think it gets me to the second part. If yeah, what this is one I really want to hear your take on.
But
Should issues of beliefs, faith, all
hmm.
those things, should they come up on a first date?
I mean, it depends on how the conversation is
Mm,
going, right?
mhm,
Not
mhm,
necessarily go straight to the point.
mhm,
Do you believe in God
mhm,
or which religion are you
mhm,
associated
mhm,
with?
mhm,
I mean, some people want to know because before they come to the date, they see you
mhm,
to be a potential, like someone they
mhm,
want to
mhm,
really have
mhm,
something to do, even though they
mhm,
don't know what you're thinking, right?
mhm,
So people could ask that just to know you,
mm,
not to really put any tag on you, but to know
mhm,
if this can really go further. Because
mm,
if they are thinking, oh, I like this guy, I wish this could go further. I wish that they
mhm,
just want to know, okay, is there anything I should know? right? Because maybe I'm a Christian, right? And even in the Christianity, we have different types of Christianity. So someone I think, okay, I like this person might not really see me that way, So you want to see, and people's belief tell a lot about them. I mean, we would all try not to be um judgmental, but then that is how people live. They have their beliefs, they have things that guide them. So sort of asking that question just gives you an idea what the person believes in, and how the person is not everything, but then it gives you some things to think about, and some things to ask, like places to ask questions. So for example, if let's say I can't there are some people that don't believe in wearing pants, wearing makeup, wearing accessories like earrings and all that, even though the person is a Christian. And then you are that kind of person, like you like accessories, you wear makeup, you wear pants. And then you ask this person, oh, the person is a Christian, that's where you end it. Oh, this person is a Christian. But then if you get to know, okay, this person doesn't believe in these things, then you're like, okay, this could just be just friendship. I don't have to look at it in a different way. You get it?
Okay.
Yeah. So it shapes you, like it gives you an idea where this could lead to or not. Yeah.
Interesting. I think it's one of those tricky ones. I'll come and get Mami's opinion. Guys, Mami has been slipping in and out of this conversation. I know she has like 60,
I'm
60
sorry.
podcasts she's on at the same time. She's oh yeah, she but
Easy.
Mami, we're trying to have a conversation around open-mindedness and sort of receiving new information, and I brought up the things about people, what the things people believe, and not necessarily like religious or anything, but like say for example, you go on a date with a flat earther, right? And in the
Mm-hmm.
course of the conversation, they're strong, they're staunch in their, or an anti-vaxxer, especially with a conversation around COVID and
Yep.
vaccinations, and they strongly believe that people should not be vaccinated. This is where the open-mindedness Christiana is talking about, Lekil is talking about, sort
Yeah.
of comes in, sort of navigating that space, not coming in with your prejudices, because one anti-vaxxer who is some way, or one flat earther who is some way, or anything you consider a conspiracy, right? Not having those prejudices taint the conversation, but rather
Mm-hmm.
being able to take what people believe, respecting it, and if having conversations around it in a safe way to demonstrate open-mindedness. So what do you think? Should these things be brought up in on a first date?
Um, I'm sorry, my line was breaking a little, but if I had something related to religious issues, or belief and all that, again, I would say that this is just a first date. And so, personally, I think one should be mindful of the things you want to ask. If not, you would end up losing a very good friend or a potential friend, a potential help,
Yeah.
just because of probably religious differences. All right. And so the fact that I am a Christian and then I have a date and then I go ahead, the person is not a Christian. And so what? What stops us from getting to know each other? I think you can know the person beyond religion. Okay, you
Mm-hmm.
want to know the person sitting in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody would say that your religious belief or your belief is a part of you. Yes, it's a part of you. But can
Mm-hmm.
that hold? Let me know you before you even got to understand what religion is about. Who are you? And I think that is what probably a first date is about. It's not about going back and forth with religion, or quite there are quite sensitive topics I think we should avoid. I mean, one key thing is religion, and the truth is that people may even come and sit in your face and lie a lot about their religion. You ask them a lot about their religion and they may not even be able to tell you the answers to it. I
Yeah.
kid you not, you may even know a lot about their own religion more than they
Than
do,
them.
but they are born into it, and so they are stuck in it. They don't want to ask any questions, and so the moment you go into it, I think that it will ruin the date. Get to know who Mame is. Look, by knowing Mame, you may even know, you may even get a chance to benefit on something. I may
Mm.
even imagine I go on a date with Koju, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and then I need something
Mm-hmm.
related to academics.
Mm-hmm.
And I get to know Koju beyond our religious
Mm-hmm.
differences. I think it will be easy for me to fall on him someday
Mm-hmm.
when that need be, rather
Mm.
than to say that, okay, the date ends here because of our religious difference. Either Kojo, you are
Mm.
Muslim, you are Buddhist, or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and because me, I'm a Christian, we
Mm-hmm.
cannot go on with our date. I don't
Mm.
think it's
Mm.
fair. Know
Mm.
what I can do, know who I am, know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean. There are lots of things about you, about
Mm-hmm.
me, that when
Mm-hmm.
we're on a date, we can
Mm-hmm.
know. That would
Mm-hmm.
even benefit our job, our
Mm-hmm.
education,
Mm-hmm.
and a whole lot of things about our lifestyle
Mm-hmm.
aside our religious
Mm.
differences. So
Mm.
some of these sensitive questions, I believe, should be dropped somewhere. It can
Mm.
be attended to later. If
Later.
it comes up and we are not, I mean, it's too
Mm-hmm.
sensitive, let's
Mm-hmm.
still put it on ice.
Mm-hmm.
It can be
Mm-hmm.
discussed regardless. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, once you're getting to know the person, someday
Mm.
you would
Mm.
definitely would have to face some of these questions.
Mm-hmm.
Fair
Can
and
we put
square.
that on ice and then
Mm.
attend to it later?
Mm.
Yeah.
Mommy, I
Mm.
get
So
what
yeah,
you're
that's my
saying,
take.
right? Mommy, I get
Mm-hmm.
what you're saying, right? But it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't
Yeah.
mean asking these questions means I don't want to have anything to do with you. That's where I'm coming from.
Mm. Mm.
Ideally, right? Ideally,
Mm-hmm.
we all want people to see beyond religion and see beyond what we like our faith, right? That is the
If
ideal
you're one
situation.
point, I don't want us to dwell on the religion part. There are a lot of
Not
things
as long.
people believe, right?
Yes, yes.
The
Flat
example I
earth,
gave,
yes,
anti-vaxxers.
vaccine.
That
Yeah,
one is a lot,
let's
probably a lot less sensitive.
okay, let's talk about the vaccine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some people are against the vaccine. I
Mm-hmm.
have a friend who would not
Mm-hmm.
want to vaccinate for
Mm-hmm.
nothing, even for a
Mm-hmm.
job.
Mm-hmm.
He will leave the job because they would
Mm-hmm.
want him to vaccinate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think just, knowing this about him alone says a lot about him. I don't want to judge, but then
Mm-hmm.
I could deduce certain things from this person.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just basic,
Mm-hmm.
it's not like I'm gonna end the friendship there. We are still friends. We
Mm.
talk. I call him when
Okay.
I need something. I talk to
Mm-hmm.
him, and I know his strength and I know his weak. I know how he
Mm.
thinks about things and how he perceives things.
Mm.
So from there I know how to, you know
Mm.
I know the kind of jokes to bring to him. I know the kind of things to say to
Okay.
him.
Okay.
I know where he's coming from. It's not to judge the person.
Mm.
Some
I
sensitive
mm-hmm.
topics will help you know
Mm-hmm.
where the person stands. Like
Mm-hmm.
like you would really leave an 80,000
Mm-hmm.
job because they need you to vaccinate.
Mm. So
Okay.
I get where you are coming from, right? And again, this is why at the beginning of the conversation we did say we're not here to set the rules for what is a good and a bad question. It's all about how
Agree.
you navigate it. And
Yeah.
if is putting on a caveat, I don't fall here or there on this subject. I fall on the side of open-mindedness, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you should not bring it up or you should bring it up, but I think it needs a lot of tact. You should be very smart. Like Leko said, you have to be willing to accept new information,
Mm-hmm.
right? Knowing something about
Mm-hmm.
an anti vaxxer or knowing something about a religion or knowing tells you nothing about the person in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to, and this is why I sort of lean towards my misplace where you can leave it for later. There's so many things you can know about the person without necessarily asking whether they are vaxxers or anti-vaxxers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get to know the person. And like Mami said, sometimes when you get to the bridge, you'd cross it. Especially on a first date, you're now getting to know this person. There's so much more you can learn other
Mm-hmm.
than their religious affiliation or
Yeah.
all those things. And so yes, it's important. If it's important to you, you can ask, but you have to ask with tact because it's very difficult not to judge. And I would give you a good example again,
Yeah.
not to slander any religion, but it's going to be hard for say a Christian or a Muslim to go out on a date and ask the partner what's your religion, and they say Church of Satan. It's going to be very difficult to sort of keep your composure. Like it's
Oh.
one of those things where you don't know what answer you're going to get, and so it can really throw you off no matter how composed you are. So we would encourage, there are things that
Yeah.
can be shelved, and if you yeah, open-mindedness is key on a first date. And Lickle,
Kojo, if you are being open-minded, right? Why not talk about it? Like, why are we shelving this? Why are we putting on ice?
So we
No,
want to
no,
be
no,
open
no.
minded, but
If
not
yeah,
too.
it's not being shelved.
Mhm.
It's not being
Okay.
shelved. Like I
Okay.
said, you know, it's just a first date, and trust me, you will not be able to ask all the questions.
Mhm.
Okay, and um, could you say something? I'm sure this probably may have come up. Look, you could even find that the vaccine thing out
Mhm.
tactfully,
Mhm.
okay, or
Mhm.
tactically. Let me
Mhm.
let me say. So you
Mhm.
don't just have to go straight to the person's face to go and ask
Mhm.
certain questions.
Mhm.
And look, there are certain things I believe we can even find out, or we can find answers to a lot of questions in our
Mhm.
head without even asking them. You
Mm.
see, when
Mm.
someone is asked one question and
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
person is responding,
Mhm.
take note of the how the person responds.
Mhm.
You may
Mhm.
end up getting a lot of answers in one question that you ask, so you wouldn't even have to ask the
Ask
next
the
question.
next one. I
Do you
agree.
get it?
Yeah, I
Uh-huh.
get it.
So you may not necessarily have to. I think that we just don't want to have a straight jacket questions like, once
Mm.
we're on a first date, you need to ask
Mhm.
this, you need to
Mhm.
ask that,
Mhm.
you need to do this.
Mhm.
I
But
get
there are
you.
there are so many ways you can find out. There are
Mhm.
so many ways
Mhm.
you can find answers to
Yep.
questions that are not being asked. There
Yep.
are so many ways. You just need
And
to be very attentive to read between the
mhm.
lines.
Efia was on the show, and guys, if
Yeah.
you missed that episode, please go check it out. Listening, that episode was good.
I got
Chris told us something on that episode. He said a good listener hears what you're not saying.
yeah.
Hmm.
And Mommy just said
Yeah.
that. There's sometimes you'd ask someone a question.
Yeah.
You ask, hey, so how are you doing? How did you deal with COVID? Like the lockdown and everything. The answer a person gives can tell you all their positions on mask, on
Yeah.
vaccines, on so you can pay attention and ask certain questions. You can, if you we're not leaving it, you can
No,
get to it,
you guys don't
but
get
you
me. Could you? I'm not saying go
can.
straight, go and ask the person, oh, what do you think about the vaccine?
Mhm.
No, you can ask it tactfully and get the answer all
Okay.
right. I'm
Okay.
saying that such sensitive, like asking certain questions and someone saying certain things shouldn't, as you
Mhm.
said, it shouldn't end everything, right? So even if I ask you,
Mhm.
how did you handle COVID? And I'm like, oh, COVID hits me so hard, blah
Mhm.
blah blah. I even did this.
Mhm.
I didn't vaccinate and all that. You know,
Mhm.
you've said that you didn't vaccinate.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Was it because you were not like it wasn't available to you? It wasn't
Mhm.
accessible? Was it expensive?
Mhm.
Oh no, I just don't. I don't believe in the vaccine. It's like this. Is like you get to know. Okay, this one doesn't believe in vaccine.
Okay.
The way I found out my friend was an anti-vaccine, was anti whatever,
Anti-vax. Mhm.
was because he got a job,
Mhm.
like a good paying job, more than what he currently has.
Mhm.
And I'm like, why don't you want to take this job? We kept talking. He was reluctant, but I was like, okay, if you want to be here, that's fine. He was like, oh, not
Mhm.
because I want to be here. They expect me to be vaccinated before I start a job, and that's not something I want to do. I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. Then I think you should keep this job. I didn't end the friendship there. I didn't get mad at him, but I understood him and how he see things. You
Mm.
know, sometimes certain questions and certain answers will make you know how someone would take a joke,
Mhm.
how someone would see certain situation, even though it's not everything, right? It's
Mhm.
like, okay, you wouldn't take a job that pays close to twice the amount you take because you need to be vaccinated.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm not going to stop. We are not going to stop being friends, but this is
Okay.
wild.
We get you. We get you. I think Efia is making some very good points, and Mami is also making some very good points. But guys, we're going to leave it to you. You can go out there and try. I've seen some comments, and I'm going to go through some of the comments. There's some very funny ones. But Leko was telling us that his open-mindedness meant being willing to examine and evaluate information without a biased attitude. Leko, we completely agree. I completely agree with
Yeah.
you, not just on sensitive topics, but on a date. Just don't be a know-it-all. Just receive no information and process it with an unbiased mind. It might you might learn a lot. Kwame is just bugging us in the comment section. He's saying that um, my miss mouth is strong. Oh. I don't even know what strong mouth means, but um, he's asking the guys to take a cue from my miss submissions. Serious keys. So yes, courage. Mami and Efia are giving us some serious keys for our next date. If you go on a date, please watch this episode or recommend it to your friend who is going out on a date. They might learn a thing or two from Mami and Efia today. How about long strolls? The Lali is asking, how about long strolls? As in taking a walk in the neighborhood. Absolutely, these are some very good ways to have good conversation, and it sort of keeps the scene changing. You can taking walks, and even if you go on out to a restaurant, just walking a few blocks around the restaurant, doing things is not a bad idea. Kwame is saying, so then cook at home and invite someone to come on a date at home.
And inviting
Shouldn't
someone.
that be a no-no then? Kwame and Christine would have to sort that out. I don't know about cooking at home and the no-no thing. I want to challenge that idea, Efia. For a first date, that is a tricky question. And I think that's a sentiment a lot of people are sharing. So people are like, you can get to know all these things, but on a first date, some of them can be very tricky. Amanda is answering the Lali. I think a stroll from a first date is a no-no. You need to put in a bit of effort for the first date. So yeah, I think Amanda is saying, listen, on the first date, let's not go walking. Let's sit. Let's pay some attention. Let's talk. I don't know, but it is something. It is something. It is definitely something. Um, let's see. What
I'm gonna
Michael?
something
Mhm.
for my date now with mommy via Kasa podcast.
Okay. Okay. So Kwame is thinking of going on a date with Mami, and he's benefiting on the things he's going to be talking about with her. Okay. Oh, Kwame, all the best on your date. Um, Mami is being agreed with by Christine 100.
Okay.
Hello, Priscilla. How you doing? I hope you're enjoying the show and you're picking you're jotting things down. Kwame is saying, I am benefiting. Okay, we just read that. I'm sorry. I don't want to judge as the start of judgment. Yes, yes. Christine is saying she does not agree with Efia. And again, that is exactly how people judge. Oh, I don't mean to judge. Hey, I'm not going to judge you, but then they judge. They just say, I'm not going to judge. Then they continue to judge. That is always a cue. It's like that joke when they say, when people say, whatever, I don't mean to be racist. Once people preface a statement with "I don't mean to be racist," it means
um
whatever is coming next can be very, very, very
I don't mean
dangerous.
to offend you. I don't
Oh,
mean to
yeah.
offend you.
Then they are going to offend you. Okay. And yeah, Mina is agreeing with Amanda on that one. For a
Okay.
first date, they are saying don't go strolling. Sometimes put in an effort. Let's sit down. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk. And sometimes on a first date, you shouldn't also be hopping in and out of my podcast. I'm just jabs.
Mommy will
Shots
get
have been
you.
fired. Shots
Mommy
have
will
been
get
fired at
you.
mommy. Guys, we've been talking about conversations people can be having on first date. Some of the ones we think can be very tricky, and we just wanted to point them out so that people will be more mindful when they
Mm-hmm.
go out on a first date. And if this is your first date on the Casa podcast, that subscribe button, that like button goes a long way to help us out. If you haven't done that yet, hit that like button, share the feed with your friends, and we can, get a lot of more people to go on very successful dates. One day we'd have a Casa wedding, maybe, when someone who watched the show went on a date and used the tricks Efia and Mami shared, and it ended up going so well that they're getting married. And so, guys, we're probably going to be wrapping up the show soon. We're going to talk about the last few things. This time is going to be like a rapid fire round. What are some of the questions people should be asking? What are some very smart things people can bring up on first dates? Anything. I know people like to talk about goals, right? People like to
Yep.
talk about goals. Like, what are your goals? Where do you see yourself? If yeah, what is a good way to go about with that one?
With the goals?
Mhm.
Uh,
Asking someone of their goals.
wouldn't that be too serious? Okay, let me see how it's gonna go.
Mhm.
Yeah, that is one way we can go about it, but
Mhm.
then it should start from somewhere. I don't think you should
Mm.
go straight from the point. What are your
Mhm.
goals?
Mhm. Mhm.
You
So how
ask
do
the
you start that?
so you start like, okay, so what are you doing now? And what do you want? So the person tells you what they are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, oh, is this something you enjoy doing, or you
Mm-hmm.
have other things you want to do on the side? The person will
Mm-hmm.
start talking.
Mm.
Oh, this is for the time being because I don't have
Mm-hmm.
a job or that. I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking at doing this or doing that, and I
Mm-hmm.
want to see myself. And they'll tell you exactly how they want things to
Mm-hmm.
go from there. So
Mm-hmm.
the moment you ask the person, oh, is this something you enjoy doing, or you're doing it because you know you're waiting on some opportunity, they're going
Mm-hmm.
to really, not everyone will open up. Some people are
Mm-hmm.
very close,
Okay.
but you can also start, as we said, by saying what you want to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh, I don't like this. Maybe I'm looking at doing this for myself, and
Mm-hmm.
I think next month I'm looking at taking this course up, this
Mm-hmm.
online course.
Mm-hmm.
When you start talking like, it's like, oh, really? Why do you want to do this? Okay, it's because of this and this and this. Oh, then I actually want to do this too. That is where
Mm-hmm.
you lead the person into the conversation.
Okay.
Yes, something
Okay.
like this. I think if you open up first, yes, the person will follow suit. That's what I
Mm.
think.
Okay. With a ghost thing, I know you think it's a bit tricky going
Hmm.
directly, but I
Hmm.
think we at the beginning of the conversation, at the beginning of the show, we did mention how to get to it, right?
Yeah.
And I think one of the ways, okay, maybe not necessarily the goals, but I would like to ask about vacations, especially if you're going on a date with someone like if you're who likes to go on vacations all the time. You can talk about, like so any special destinations you want to check out, you want to visit, you want to go see. And if
Yeah.
is going to say, she's going to give you like a long list. Her list of vacation destinations are like 650. Mommy, what do you think? What other things can we bring up mhm, on a first date? Mina said, I might not
Um,
ask someone his goals on a first date. Okay, oh, she's afraid. She doesn't want to go go
yeah,
asking
sure. I
about
mean,
goals.
that's cool.
Hmm.
That's cool work for her. I mean,
Hmm.
she feels it's too detailed and
Hmm.
info on a first
Hmm.
date. Like I mentioned earlier, first dates are supposed to be fun enough to
Hmm.
want to
Yeah.
repeat your
Mm,
date. All right.
mm,
And so if you make first dates like a military girl, I'm sorry.
mhm.
I don't want to
Okay.
be in the military, so I'm not coming
Okay.
back.
Yeah. Most often
Yeah,
Okay.
you should add
so I
activities
mean,
like that.
yeah, you
Okay.
could have an activity on a first date as well.
Mm,
You know,
mm,
it doesn't matter where you find yourself. You could
mhm,
even play a game on your phone. I mean, you
mm,
something
mm.
very interesting, something
If you
more
have
engaging,
shared
something that would
interests.
engage you both.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Say again.
No, I was like, if you have shared
Could
interest
you?
in like a game or something, right?
Of
Then you can
course,
both do
yes.
it. Mhm,
So I might not even be interested in I might not
mhm,
even know the existence
mhm,
of something, but
mhm,
you may have
mhm.
an idea. There's a
Okay.
game or something, you bring it up. I mean, I
Mhm,
may be curious to want to
mhm,
know more about it. And
mm,
that will be engaging. I will
mm,
get to ask questions
mhm,
because you know much about it. You also get to explain. And
mm,
then it becomes interesting.
mm,
Okay. But it
mm.
shouldn't be straight
Okay.
question.
Okay.
Know the person, what makes them happy. If they like
Mhm,
games, yeah, what kind of games do they like? Football.
mhm,
What team do you support? How is
mm,
it going? How is your team doing and all that?
mhm,
That is
mhm,
if you both like
mm,
football. But
mm.
if you don't, you could find a common
Come
ground
on.
to
Yeah.
engage each other on a
Mm.
Mhm,
first date, so that another
mhm.
time when you meet, you would build it from there.
There.
So once you know this person, you have an idea who he or
Mhm,
she is. And so on
mhm,
your next date, you know specifically some of the things or the areas within which you want to play or you want to ask questions to know
mhm,
what you want to know. Because at the end of the
mhm,
day, we're going on a first date,
mhm,
and I have an agenda. I want to know something about you. You also
mm,
want to know something about me.
mhm,
So once the first date is set enough for us to want to meet again,
mhm,
then another time I have an idea how to put my questions, how to pick up my questions from, or how to
mhm.
respond to your questions. So
Okay.
yeah, that's what I think.
That's very interesting. That's very
Yeah.
interesting. I like the idea of doing activities and finding interest. I think that's what the first date should be. And that's why I would not go with asking, very sensitive, divisive questions. I want you to find as many things you have in common with a person. I think that should be your goal at the end of the night. How many things, how many commonalities, how many common grounds can I find with this person? In how many ways are we alike? Right? What are our shared interests?
Yeah.
Right? Once you can find a bunch of those, you know that you can have go on several dates, right? And so I agree with, if they're interested in games, hey, let's go. If they're interested in, find the things you're interested in and try and do an activity. If you're interested in magic, you do a magic trick. Like if you're a magician like myself, you definitely pull off a magic trick. It helps. Christine is asking, what do you do for fun? That's a good one. That also helps you sort of find common
Yeah.
interests. It's just like, hey, um, you know, um, I like to play video games, or I like to watch something. I like movies. Then you can find
Yep.
more interests
Yep.
that you share in common. Mina asks, is your childhood interesting? Tell me about it. Oh my God, that's an interesting one. Wow. Christine said, what
Ah.
about first date with activity? Bowling, ice skating, definitely. You can definitely do an activity. Christine, oh, Chrissy. Christine said, what? Mina, that question feels like a visit to the therapist. Absolutely. Tell me about your childhood is where you find the problems. That's how you start diagnosing people. Unless, of course, you're going on the date with the DSM-6. You want to stay away from the therapy stuff. Tell me about your childhood. Did your parents hit you? Okay. I have diagnosed you with. Yeah. Afibu,
If you're boo.
if yes, boos are in the comments.
Oh,
Kwesi said play Uno or Kwesi Ada Franca on the first date. Yes, if that's an interest, if you have shared interest. I don't know if for me doing a sport or an activity like that on a first date would be good, because I get rather competitive, which is something I have to work on. Mami is my favorite. Mami, my favorite hobby is listening to you talk on the Kasa podcast. Hey, Kwame, bra Kwame. Mina is laughing at the retort. What if those common grounds are the sensitive parts? Oh wow! Oh
yeah.
wow!
So thank you for
Oh
this.
wow!
Thank you for this.
Oh wow! Okay. Oh. Hey, magic trick on a Ghanaian girl. I did not see that, guys. We're gonna be wrapping up the show. If you're able, come back and let's
Yeah.
wrap up the show. I think we've talked about enough things. I've learned so much. I've
Yeah.
learned about how to ask some of these questions, how to stay away from
Mm-hmm.
the tricky ones.
Yeah.
We've also learned the places not to go on first dates with Christine.
Mhm.
If you're going to ask Christine out on a date, home, no. There's so many things we've talked about. Mame joined the show. Those of us who were not here at the start, Mame is a new member of the tribe. She joined, she gave us some very interesting tips and keys, paying
Yeah.
attention, being interesting, and not all gas, no breaks.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to intersperse the conversation with fun stuff, pointing out things, talking about things you guys have in common. And guys, I know I did the entire show without my glasses because I wanted you guys to see my eyes. Now that the show is almost over, my glasses are back. I'm hiding my glasses from you guys. Someone is asking, what about Netflix and chill on the first date?
No, no, no.
It's going to be where this is where I would probably wrap up the show. Now that Netflix and chill is coming in, I don't know. I don't know about Netflix and chill on the first date. But guys, let's wrap up. Our last words. Chris, Mami, I'll let you answer that. Do you think, I don't know if Mami is back with us. If yeah, Netflix
Yeah.
and chill on the first date, you said no.
Mm-mm.
For me, it's a big maybe. So guys,
No.
okay, Kasa flex and chill. Definitely, you can definitely listen to the Kasa podcast with someone on a first date, especially if it's on a drive. You have to play the Kasa podcast, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for enjoying our show. We've had a great time. We've had a great time. Those of us who are looking for tips for this summer, I know Kwame said big yes. I know Kwame, dear, why not? You are the only one who is going to go on the first date to Netflix and chill. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your watching. It's we do this for you guys. You guys keep us going. You guys are the reason why we stream. We come on here every day, and we can't thank you enough for the company, for enjoying the conversation and joining in the conversation. The comments and the chats you sent in, those are the gems, right? Kwame, Christine, Mina, Kwesi, Abena, Song, and all the amazing people, Leko, all the amazing people who joined the conversation. Thank you so much for joining. It's been the Kasa podcast, and once again from us here at the tribe, it's
Bye.
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 Enjoy.